Hi, Year 7. Today we're going to finish off our novel and do a little activity. So let's get into it. The first thing you need to know is that we're going to talk about themes, and theme is a central idea in a text. So we all know that a text could be a poem or a book or a movie or a song or an image. And the text that we are looking at is the novel My Girragundji. And so we're going to look at a central theme, and that central theme is facing our fears. And we know that that's a central theme or an idea throughout the entire book, because he speaks about how the things he's scared of at the beginning, the narrator, and then he overcomes the fear using the Girragundji as his protector. And at the end, he's feeling a lot more confident. Now, we haven't read the very end of the book yet, but we can tell that already. So let's have a look at what it says, and then we'll get into our activities for today. So we read this page last lesson, and we know that he could hear the Girragundji calling out to him, and he knew that a snake. So the last few lines say, "A snake has got her, my Girragundji. I know it has." I raced down the hall, grabbed the torch off the fridge, out through the kitchen, down the back and round to the side into the dark. I don't care about the hairy man. He can't touch me now. I don't know whether it's rain or tears, but I can't see. I'm going to grab that snake by the throat and kill him forever. I try and squeeze under the house. I'm too big. I can't get through to her. There's nothing I can do. Girragundji, my darling Girragundji. I freeze in the dark. My mind leaves me and goes to her. I stroke her gently as a cool breeze. I whisper I love her. I can hear her. Our spirits, always together. You are strong, no matter what. Then she is gone. Those words were the things that he could hear the Girragundji saying to him. I lie in the mud crying like a rainstorm. The next night takes a long time to come round. My heart hurts. Little Chickie gives me a hug when she finds out. I tell her I'm sorry I was a bully and I won't be needing to do that no more. We sit on the front steps together and wait for Popeye. It's the weekend and he should be coming to do the smoking today or tomorrow. I never had warts before. I swear, never ever. I heard Sharon's mum say you can get them from touching too many frogs. She's a Migaloo, but sometimes they don't know much about the way things are. Remember, Migaloo means a white person. Not Uncle Arthur and Auntie Joyce, of course. They're Migaloos, but they understand lots of things. Sharon said her mum used to throw salt on frogs to dry them up so they wouldn't come into the house. I hope her mum is right about the warts. That month, I grew warts on my fingers. Sharon said my warts are revolting and I should go to the doctor. I kissed them in front of her and I said I didn't care. She dropped me the next day. I was already thinking she wasn't my type, but dropped me means she broke up with me, okay? I found myself smiling at that Jodie Butler today. She smiled back. I heard her talking about going bush with her family. Reckons she loves it. So maybe that's somebody else that the narrator likes now, okay? When the rain pours down and the water comes up, I listen for the chorus of croaks. In the very center of that sound, I hear my Girragundji. She's still there, always will be, protecting me. She's in my heart when I leap for a screamer, and then when I'm telling the bullies to back off. She's there when I'm mucking about in the mangroves and round the fire at night listening to the stories. She's there when I start smiling at the girls, and even when I get flogging from my dad. She's there. That's the kind of thing that will never change. And that's the end of the story. There's a little bit of information there about how it was written, and we might have a look at that another day. So for today, your task is to do this worksheet here. And this worksheet says themes facing our fears, which means confronting our fears, or if there's something that you're scared of, overcoming it. And you can see this really important bit of information right here. And it's really important you understand what a theme is, because you're going to talk about that in English for the next 5 years. A theme is a main idea explored throughout a text. The novel My Girragundji explores the theme that it is important to face our fears. And we've got a few questions here. And only you can answer these questions. Think about a time when you have faced something challenging or scary. What was it? Now, instead of writing the question down, I just want you to write in full sentences, and I'll give you an idea of what that might look like now. Okay, what you can see here is that I've started the beginning of these sentences for you, which means you don't have to write down the questions. So I've said, I faced a challenging or scary time when, and you don't have to write challenging and scary. You can choose whether it was challenging or scary. I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I got lost at the show and I couldn't find my parents. And that was a really scary time for me. And it probably only lasted about 10 or 20 minutes, but it felt like a really, really long time. And from then on, I had a really big fear of getting lost. Then number 2 says, how did the situation make you feel? And so I've started this sentence for you. During this time I felt, and you can talk about how you felt. You might have felt anxious, helpless, scared, little, and you're going to explain why. So you said, during this time I felt something because, and you need to finish that sentence. So you can pause me now, make sure that you finish the first 2. Okay, now we're going to look at number 3. How did you deal with the situation? I've started the sentence for you. It says, I overcame this challenge by. One of the ways that I overcame my challenge is that I grew up and I grew out of the phase of being scared of getting lost. My mum also really helped me because I let her know that I had a bit of a fear of getting lost. And so she helped me to always assure me where she'd be at a certain time. And she always made sure that she stuck to those things that she gave me, the information that she gave me. And that really helped me. So sometimes overcoming a challenge might be really helpful if you have someone to help you. So I'd like everyone to do number 3 now, the way you overcame that challenge. Okay, the last one, all you need to do for the last one is to put all of the answers together to come up with a paragraph. Now, a paragraph is about 4 sentences and it might have a little bit more detail in it. So you might tell us exactly how old you were when this scary thing happened or where you were. And I want you to write it right here. So you can pause me now and do that. And I'm going to do mine too. Okay, so this is my answer and I've put in a few more details. One of the fears I had when I was little is that I was scared of getting lost and being left behind. This all started when I became lost at the show when I was little. I was probably only alone for 10 minutes, but that felt like a really long time to be without my parents. I remember feeling so scared and thoughts about never seeing them again or being taken by strangers ran through my mind. I was reunited with my parents, but, found a mistake again, always good to reread your work. But that fear of being lost stayed with me for years. I told my mum how I was feeling and she slowly helped me to overcome it. She would tell me where and when she would be somewhere and made me memorize her phone number. It took a while, but eventually I was able to overcome my fear, or this fear. So I want you guys to make sure that you've got a really good paragraph to share with some details. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Make sure you take a photo and send them to me on Edmodo or to your teacher. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Great lesson.